My nightly routine as man of the house is when everyone's asleep, I will go make sure that all the doors are locked, the lights are turned off, and then as I'm halfway up the stairs, I suddenly start imagining things creeping up behind me in the dark, and that's where I sprint upstairs like a 6-year-old girl and open the door and slam it really, really loud, waking up my wife. Welcome to Rumble Book Club. I'm your host, Michael Hernandez, and this is the show where a normal guy like me can talk about interesting books I've read, old and new, good and bad. So if you like the show, you like the content, you like the books that I talk about, or maybe you get scared of the dark too. Ha! You've come to the right place, my friend. You can follow me on Parler, TikTok, or what's the other one? Twitter. Or you can subscribe right down below on YouTube and Rumble. But more importantly, be a part of the conversation. Share these videos with your friends. Comment down below. Let me know if there's any other book recommendations that you'd like me to talk about. And I might even give you a shout out on the show. So today, we're going to take a look at a really cool book that came out about 5 years ago. And I just got around to reading it. It was a really exciting read. Today, we're going to talk about Hillbilly, Elegy by J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a Yale graduate, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and current Senate candidate in the state of Ohio. This book is Vance's account of his family and its woven history within the rural white population spanning from Kentucky all the way up to Ohio. Now let's get into our three-part criteria of the book, starting with the aesthetics, how it looks, how it feels, how it pops off the shelf, then getting into the readability, how the actual flow of the reading is, not just mentally, but also physically. And then we'll get into the content, which is the actual information or the story that you're actually getting from cover to cover. Now let's start with the aesthetics. So I was given this book as a gift, which I do appreciate. I love getting books as gifts. But the one downside of that is I didn't get to specify that I don't want the movie cover. I can't stand it when books have the movie representation on the book. It drives me nuts, and it's like, now a major motion picture, and then you have some stupid actor instead of the actual art that was designed for the book. So I've got this stupid annoying Netflix sticker that I just want to rip off, and I can't stand it. But outside of that, the actual image itself is pretty good. You got a rustic barn with the American flag kind of painting away, which it's kind of chipped off and faded, which I like. I think it sets up kind of a good visual narrative of the story you're going to read, and you have the Appalachian Hills in the background. Prominent title, which is good, prominent author, but it is a little busy with the amount of text and the font of that text constantly changing. I'm not a big fan, but nonetheless, the cover is, aesthetically all right. I'd give it a middling 6 out of 10. Now let's look at the readability. Vance goes hard in the paint, telling his family history and the history of many rural Americans of the Rust Belt, and he does it in a really brutal and honest fashion, just doesn't pull punches. He's definitely not afraid to go there in many parts, even getting into details of his own family. His narrative style is done really well. It really draws you in. It's a real page turner, and you feel like you're actually, part of those frustrations, those struggles, the occasional triumphs of his family, those warm moments, and you feel the loyalty his family feels, you feel the heartbreak his family feels, and it really draws you into that community, which is very well done. Then getting physically, how it reads, you've got cream-colored pages with very clear text, so it's easy on the mind and also easy on the eyes. So as far as the readability, perfect score, 10 out of 10. Now looking at the content, J.D. Vance details the history that took his grandparents from the Appalachian Hills of Kentucky to the factory districts in Middletown, Ohio. They followed the beaten path of thousands and thousands and thousands of hillbilly transplants who heavily populated the booming factories of the Northwest, and over time, they watched this erosion of those factories as they left. Those jobs went overseas, went to other places, technology advanced, and they watched this erosion of their livelihoods decades later. He tells the heartbreaking story of his family's battles with feuds, with the law, with pride, with drug addiction and poverty that fits seamlessly into the similar culture where that was going on all around him. So his family wasn't exactly sticking out with this chaotic behavior. In some cases, his family was actually more fortunate despite all that dysfunction that you see. In many cases, his family was actually better off than some of the people around him. It's a very intense look of how a blend of government failure and personal choices can create echoes of tribulation throughout generation after generation of people. He also tells his own story, his own kind of personal triumph of coming from that environment that was full of chaos, that was full of a lot of tragedy, and with constant love and support, and at times butting heads with his grandparents. And also this constant love and support from his sister, he was able to make something greater of his life by enlisting in the Marines, kind of getting out of that environment, constant work ethic while gaining a law degree from Yale, going from numerous different jobs to support that education. And the story really is inspirational. It's eye-opening, and it really encourages us to seek answers to society outside the sweeping view from Republicans and Democrats, where they believe they have all the answers to all your problems if you just go to one extreme or go to the other. He really takes that middle road and says there are things from both sides. There's things from both sides that they get very, very wrong, and there's things from both sides that are right if they're done the correct way. I got this book as a gift, but you can find it at Barnes & Noble. You can find it online. Find it at your local bookstore as well, most likely. I would highly suggest going to your local bookstore first as a last result. If all else fails, get it from Amazon. Also, try to avoid getting the movie one. It's never aesthetically a good thing to get the movie representation of the book, so try to avoid it if you can. Nonetheless, I hope you get it. It's a fantastic book. The book is Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance. It's got my full recommendation. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go read something.